Whatever your walking problem is, this little practice that I'm going to show you can help fix it. We're going to work on doing a simple exercise to engage the heel rocker, placing the heel and then rolling to the flat of the foot. So we can take advantage of not only the heel placement and the core movement that is going to generate that heel placement, but we're also going to work the reflexes that control our heel actions. So as you see, as I do this motion, we're going to place the heel and then roll to the forefoot. And as I begin the motion, the rear heel is going to come up off the ground and then lift to the ball of the foot as I roll to the flat of the front foot. As I do that, what I want you to do and practice is feel almost like you're going to be bowling with your hand. If your left foot is forward, I'm going to want you to begin with your right arm forward and then bring the heel down, not by trying to lower the foot with your leg and not by trying to push off of the back foot, because all of that is going to cause you to lean over or just not move correctly. What we're going to do is move from the core, and what I want you to think of is like you're trying to bowl, but bowl with your thumb facing forward, and you're going to generate the motion from your arm at first, but then what you want to feel is the arm is connected to your upper waist. And so you're really generating the motion from your upper waist. And that's what's throwing your arm forward, and that's what's bringing your forward heel down and bringing your rear heel up. And the arms should switch places. As I go forward, my left arm goes forward. As I retract back and then lift up my left leg, my right arm is going to go forward. So we're going to feel this back and forth of the arms really engaging the heel rocker. After we've practiced that for a second, I'm going to explain a couple things that we need to be aware of before we go on to the next part of the step. You'll probably have heard the recommendation to push off with your toe when you're walking. And is that really something you should be doing? I'm going to tell you right now, no. You should not be trying to push off with your toes. Our movement comes from our center, and then our reflexes control what happens with our knees, whether they flex or they extend, and our ankles, whether they dorsiflex or plantar flex. You can't move comfortably by trying to decide what to do with your knees or your ankles. That motion has to come from your center, and your knees and your ankles act in a reflexive way to keep your body upright. So it's the same when we place the heel down when we're walking. We don't try to use our knee or our ankles to push the body forward. We use our center, and that's going to gently place the heel and lift the rear heel and allow you to roll to the flat of the foot. So feel it come from that bowling action, like you're trying to bowl with the left arm, thumb facing forward. Gentle placement. You can slow it down and you can speed it up. The speed is going to be determined by how fast you rotate. I didn't mention the foot position. Your feet should be facing forward and just about side by side as if you were standing with your feet together, but one foot is going to be forward as you're doing the motion. I'll do it facing the camera. So you can see the thumb is facing forward. Once you got that feeling from the upper waist, bowling forward with the arm to bring the heel down and the rear heel up, then I want you to think next about your waist, the lower part of the waist, because we're going to use the lower part of the waist to bring the pelvis into a neutral position after the heel contacts the ground. Once the heel contacts the ground, almost like a plane, you're going to use the lower abs to pull up out of the landing. That's going to correct your pelvis into a neutral position. So you're not going to land and let that happen. That's going to cause us to lean forward and have a heavy heel strike. We touch down and then pull up from the lower abs. You can just practice that motion here. Tilt your pelvis back, or tilt your pelvis forward, then tilt your pelvis back to the neutral position, back and forth like that. So you can feel where that muscle is generating the energy from to pull up on the pelvis. And that's what you're going to do as soon as the heel places. Pull up. The motion will end right when your foot gets to the flat position. Of course, you're going to practice this on both sides. And if you have any balance problems at all, you're going to want to use one hand to hold on to a wall as you do it. It'll keep you nice and steady. Once you have gotten comfortable with the heel placement and the roll to the flat of the foot, now what we're going to do for the next part of the step is not push off or lean forward to try to move forward. I want you to do this one simple thing: stand up. From this position, just try to stand up using this leg, your forward leg. Stand up. When you stand up from that position, your leg, the swing leg, is actually going to go forward of the body because of where you're starting the motion. So we place the heel, level the pelvis out, and then stand up. That stand up is going to be using muscles in the front of your hip, and also because you're going to single leg balance, your gluteus medius is going to really start kicking in there. Your gluteus medius is necessary for keeping your pelvis in a stable position this way. Your gluteus medius keeps your pelvis up like that. As you touch down, your gluteus medius is going to begin to engage, and then it's going to be fully engaged as you stand up into this position, because that's what's going to keep you balanced in single leg stance. So you can really feel your gluteus medius here once you get into that standing position. So we're essentially standing up, but the swing leg is going to have gone in front of the body. Once we've placed the heel, rolled to the flat of the foot, and then stood up, we've now completed the motion and are ready to do the motion on the other side. Lowering of the heel, lowering to the flat of the foot, and then stand up. Now we are essentially starting the exercise again. You're going to go on the other side, use your core, and do the heel rocker. Rear heel is going to come up as the forward heel comes down. Level the plane out with your lower abs, and then stand up. When you are walking fluidly, we're going to just be cycling through those motions. Just like you're going to be bowling and then standing up. Bowl, stand up. Bowl and stand up. So I was mentioning that we don't try to push off with the ankles or push off with the toe, because the motion of the ankles is a reflexive action. It's controlled by your core and then your nerves that control your position sense. Your nerves that go down into your feet can feel where your position is, and to keep you level or upright, they are going to activate to either extend or flex your knee, or to extend or flex your ankle to keep the posture vertical, depending on what's going on in your core, if you move correctly. So as I do this bowling action with the core, my ankle on the rear leg is going to automatically plantar flex. So it's automatically going to lift the heel off the ground. Now, in fact, the ankle actually is going to go into slight dorsiflexion, meaning pulling up as I do that. So I'm not trying to push off the ground with the ankle like that. But the plantar flexion force from the calf muscle is going to allow the ankle to stay in a relatively stable position, allowing it to move the body forward. You could say that the ankle is helping you to push off, but I think using the mindset of telling somebody to push off from their ankle is the wrong way to think about it. Because when you say that, you're implying that you are going to try to consciously control what your ankle is doing, and that's not how movement works. We are controlling what happens here in the waist. That's what I want you to control. Your reflexes will control the ankle plantar flexion, which is going to stop as soon as your forward heel hits the ground. So certainly you're not trying to push off at that point as if you were riding on a skateboard, because that's not going to help your toe clearance as you actually step forward. Once the foot leaves the ground, it needs to immediately come forward, and your ankle needs to dorsiflex immediately after leaving the ground. If we're really pushing off with the toes, that would prevent the ankle from dorsiflexing properly, which is going to increase your risk of tripping and falling. In the walking code, I often use the mantra turn, tuck, lift to reflect the motions of the core that we're using to make this action happen. The turn is the motion from the upper waist that's going to create that bowling action. The tuck is the tucking of the pelvis using your lower abs. Turn and tuck. Turn and tuck. And then the lift is like the standing up. Turn, tuck, lift, turn, tuck, lift. Or turn, tuck, stand, turn, tuck, stand. When you walk that way, you're going to be able to place the heel very softly with very little to no impact. And you're going to be able to roll efficiently forward onto the front leg, and then you're going to be able to lift off or stand up without pitching forward. This is going to allow your movement to feel fluid and comfortable and confident as you walk. I'd also encourage you to do this when you're at home with your shoes off, because we often get accustomed to the thick padding on our shoes. Sometimes there's a heel lift on our shoes that prevent that whole heel off roll of the foot from being real natural. We really want to feel the natural roll of the foot, and you're going to feel that much better if you take your shoes off. Now, if you have issues like plantar fasciitis, you may have been told to keep your shoes on and wear an arch support. And that is true, because if you have walking problems and you're hitting with a hard heel strike and overly pronating your foot, the arch supports can help. But you need to retrain the way you walk eventually, otherwise the problem is never going to get better. So at least for short periods while you're at home in a controlled environment, take your shoes off and practice doing, as I said, with that controlled motion, that little bowling action, then standing up, bowling action, then standing up. And I think you're going to feel so much more comfortable when you walk. I'm Dr. Todd Martin. I'm creator of the Walking Code. I'm a family medicine practitioner for the past 27 years. I'm also a dance instructor and a Tai Chi practitioner, and I bring these three disciplines together to help bring you tips on how to walk more fluidly, walk with more confidence, and walk with lower impact on your joints. If you enjoy this video, make sure to click the like button, because that helps the YouTube algorithm to share it with other people. Of course, subscribe to the channel and share this video with other people. Have a great day.